Hello? Oh,
Hey, what's up?
hi. How are you guys tonight?
We're fighting gremlins left and right, but other than that, pretty good.
We're not live, but we are recording, just to
Yeah,
let you know in case you didn't know already.
Yeah, they warned us in the
cool.
waiting room.
Well,
Cool.
thank you so much for waiting on us, and we'd love to hear your story.
Okay. Well, so my name is Melissa.
Oh,
Um,
sorry,
and
Melissa.
oh no, you're fine. My cousin told me a story at a family reunion probably 12 or so years ago, and so when I emailed you, Shane, it was just kind of off the best of my memory, and then I kind of touched base with him and cleaned it up a little bit. So it kind of got a little bit even wilder. So just in the than the email I sent you, but
Awesome.
so yeah, it's pretty crazy. So um he's really a talented person. He does like background props and sets for like haunted houses and fantasy theme parks and stuff like that, painting and that kind of thing. But this particular job happened, he was working in Salt Lake City, Utah, and his workspace was on the fourth floor of a brick office building. It had like a storefront on the bottom level, like a bakery, deli type thing, and then offices on the second level, like I think like tax preparation and insurance agencies, stuff like that. And then there was government offices on the third floor, and then the owners of the project he was working on rented the fourth floor just to use as like a big workspace for like clay work and painting and stuff like that. And one day, him and his coworkers decided they were going to take the stairs instead of the elevator. And between the third and the fourth floor, they noticed kind of a small half-size door on the landing. And they're like, that's curious. And it was locked, which was disappointing. And so they just kind of went back to their floor that day and continued to work. And he tells me that he just kept thinking about that odd door, and he noticed the building layout, like the stairs going up to his floor were a little bit longer than the other ones. And when you looked at the building from the road, there were no windows between the third and what he thought was the fourth floor where they worked, but you could tell that the spacing between the windows was a bigger gap. So like there was a space there. I don't know if any of your listeners or you guys have seen the movie Being John Malkovich.
Literally what I
Yeah.
was thinking while you were talking. Yes, I love that
Like he
movie.
was like, it's like a half floor in between, and he just kept like his brain just kept thinking and like ruminating on that door, like we got to figure out what's in there,
Huh.
right? So he kind of just said that he started randomly taking the stairs here and there, like over weeks, span, like checking the door. One day it's going to be unlocked, and as luck would have it, actually one day it was unlocked, and it opened, and it led to like this dingy hallway that had really low lighting, and really short ceilings. So like he's 5'5" and he could like touch the ceiling. He said if he were any taller, he'd have to just walk kind of crouched down. Like Shane, you'd have to duck.
That wouldn't fit.
And yeah, the hallway didn't have any doors to the left or the right. It was just like a straight on hallway. And at the end, it led to a door at the end, and it had a surveillance camera up in the corner above it. Though he could kind of tell that it was inactive. It was not aimed right, like and covered in dust. So they figured it was inactive.
Right.
And the door was all a glass door, like the type in offices where you have like window glass panes on both the left and the right of the door with
Sure.
like blinds. Yeah. And the door was locked, but it wouldn't have mattered because he said it was cinder blocked from the inside. So you could look through and it was just all like blocked off.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so there was a sign on the door that said area evacuated. And he was just like, this is really strange. And it's as far as they could go, like they couldn't get through. So he was, all right, I guess that's it. And so, but it only made him more curious as to like, what's in this area, this weird evacuated half floor. Well, I guess some other workers that were in that building that had been working there longer than him and his team had kind of snooped around or kind of got to know the building, and they knew that if you could get into like those government offices on the level three floor, that you could like climb through the ceiling and sneak into that evacuated area.
Oh man, this is dangerous.
I know. So like one evening after work, they decided that they were going to do just that. They were
All
like, all right,
right.
everyone's gone. We work later than everybody. We're going to go try this.
I like the
And so,
tenacity here.
yeah, he's like the anxiety was high,
I'm sure.
really excited, like we're going to go do this. And so they go down into this empty office area after hours, and climbed through the ceiling. I wish I would have gotten a little more details if it was like maybe just in the hallway or like an awaiting office area, like probably not behind locked office doors, but maybe like a reception area or something.
Right.
And so they go up through the floor up into this evacuated area. It's kind of like Alice going down the rabbit hole, only going up. And he said it was really kind of cold, like, no heat or something up there. It was dark. The first thing he noticed was like the lights wouldn't come onto that area. Like it must be on its own circuit, or maybe the power was cut off or something. So, and again, the ceiling's low, like just pushing that claustrophobia to the surface. It's just really strange. But he described it as like a mix of sort of an apartment area and an office, because there was like a living space area, maybe kind of like a break room that had a couch and coffee tables and chairs and TVs and stuff.
Okay.
But it was all covered in dust. They had like cups and bowls sitting out, left out. And
Weird.
down the hall in another room was a full-size kitchen cafeteria area. Dishes still in the sink, just covered in dust. Tablecloth and like fake flowers on the tables. Old expired food in the cupboards. And he just said there was like another area that had in another room with cubicles and like office type filing cabinets, desk chairs, computers, stuff like that. But everything was empty. There was just some small items like snacks and stuff in the work area that had just been kind of abandoned quickly. And he said he kind of got even more of a strange feeling. I mean, you already know you shouldn't be in there, right? But like the anxiety of like an urgency to get out. Like, are we still being watched? Is there more cameras? Like,
Right.
really like, but their desire to snoop and figure this out was kind of strong. So
was he noticing that the things that were left behind were from a certain era? Like, did it look like from the era, like modern
or recent?
Yeah.
Yeah, like computers were a little older.
Okay.
But nothing like alarmingly like it's not from the 40s or
Okay. Yeah, there wasn't like Victrolas around. Yeah, because I guess you're seeing glass doors and stuff for an office building, so it's got to be at least like 60s, 70s. It's in a building. Yeah.
Or computers.
Yeah. Right. Computers are there, so it's probably 80s, 90s.
Something like that. He just was like, this is really, really weird. And so, really, the only thing they found was in the kitchen cafeteria area. They found some ledgers and some stacks of paper. And the stacks of paper were like Cisco food order receipts that you get. I don't know if anybody's worked fast food or, you get those Cisco orders. And all of them were dated in the beginning of September 2001.
Okay.
So he started scanning the ledger, and he's seeing the last day written on the ledger kind of sent some chills down him. So they kind of aimed their flashlights looking around on the walls, and they saw that the windows were painted on. Like the illusion that you could kind of look out, but it's all bricked off. No one can see from the outside in. And they thought that was kind of strange. Yeah, it's like a little
crazy.
word, like a living room area or something that you.
And it's like
then,
he found a diorama. It's like a walk-in diorama.
Or like those underground malls though too, that like had those weird rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, what is this? And all of them are bricked from the outside. Like all the doors are just cinder blocked in. They're shut. And so they kind of aimed a flashlight on the whiteboard on the wall in the kitchen area. And it was a menu. It has like the day's food options laid out of what they could have had that day. And the date written on the top of the whiteboard in a dry erase black marker was the same as the very last date in the ledger, September 10th, 2001.
What? That's so crazy.
So the day before 9/11, this area was the last time it was used. And it was just like packed up and evacuated. Personal kind of office items like staplers and stuff left around, decorations, food, like all of it just kind of left like they were in a hurry, and the doors were blocked off. And I don't know why some random office building in Salt Lake City, Utah would be connected in any way to 9/11. It makes me think like all the time it's kind of my Roman Empire,
this is what I'm haunted by.
I randomly think about it. I just randomly think about it like
what happened to those people?
And
what is the connection?
Is the building still there?
Can we go?
So. But it could be like a total coincidence, but obviously our conspiratorial minds like to think that somehow it had to have been related because it was government offices that were in that third floor.
Right. So your takeaway, am I wrong in saying like his takeaway is that this is maybe connected to 9/11, and perhaps we knew, like I believe we knew something was going to happen that day, and that these were possibly government offices or some deep state type of offices operating in Salt Lake City for who knows why.
Yeah, it just thinks it's so strange. I mean, it's so far away from New York or anything, but he just doesn't know, and he was just like always just keeps kind of nagging at you, like, you want to know more. You just can't. I have no idea what it was, or
I don't want to. Sorry, I was going to say I don't want to like dox people in locations if anyone's still affiliated with this building, but this would be one of those things I would love to have like the community work on once we have, if whether it's this or another one, we have a building, then we investigate. Yeah. Like this is what I was going to ask you. Are there military bases nearby that you know of?
We have a Hill, I think, Air Force Base. We have some military stuff, but I don't know how close it is. I don't know the address. I'm sure that I could, find out from him and ask him. And I'm sure we
don't want to send crazy people to the building.
It's probably not there now.
Because that's the first thing in my mind. I want to find my way into this building and investigate.
There's probably like a bakery still in the bottom or something. And then I think it was like an H&R Block or something, on that second floor with like insurances and taxes and stuff. So I'm sure it might still be operational. It's just the weirdest thing. And
that's so crazy. Yeah, that would haunt me a lot too. It's funny because while you were telling us that story, I just kept thinking of being John Malkovich, finding that floor, and perhaps in that office building, there's a portal into some actor's brain for people to live immortal. I love that movie.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite. Oh, it's great. Well, that's great. What was that?
It's a bizarre movie, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, it seems the more I hear the stories like this, the more I think that movie is more like reality than movies that claim to be like reality.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that story, and now I'm going to be haunted.
I'm going to be thinking about it all the time.
And I'm also going to think about what buildings have secret buildings or office spaces inside of it.
I love falling down that rabbit hole of like the malls that have like these little abandoned offices or something.
Right. Like Grand Central in Manhattan has secret train tunnels, that they used to use for presidents and stuff. And these things, of course, there's underground networks and stuff happening in secret buildings and all that lovely stuff. Well, thank you very much for that phone call. That was incredible.
I hope you can sleep tonight.
Yeah. And one
absolutely.
One day I want to get an answer to that. So
thanks for calling.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great night.
You too.
Good night.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I know.
Everyone should watch Being John Malkovich if they haven't seen it already.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely seen it, but I should watch it again to get all creeped out all over again.
Such a good movie.
All right. We want to move on to another caller?
Yeah, we can move on. I was just going to say Joe Biden's a lot like Being John Malkovich sometimes. I think about people finding a portal into his brain, and he's just being like remote controlled by like little people.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think that's.
Then they're stupid people.
Well, clearly, unless they want to have the appearance of stupidity, because they got other more important things happening.
See,
there might be a portal. There might be a portal in this house. Honestly,
there might be. Well, it's like there's this new movie out. God damn it! What was it called? It's on HBO, and Justin Long's in it. And he stays at like an Airbnb, and he goes downstairs.
There is a portal in this house. Actually, we'll talk about that later.
Don't tell me about it. Later, But he stays in this Airbnb, and he hears a noise, and a door creaks open, and he walks down to the basement, and there's like a hallway. There's like a whole room, and like it's no, I don't know.
I'll look it up.
I have to tell you about it. All right, anyway.
There's a hole in the basement downstairs that no one wants to go into, and I'm pretty sure that leads to another dimension.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, and that's probably where all our problems are coming through. It's not just normal technological problems. It's whatever's crawling out of that hole in the basement.
Yeah.
Who we got next?
Great. My feet are tingling.